You're listening to the start of your NFL week. You're listening to the Opening Whistle Radio Show. Right here on MetsonRadio.com. Now, here are your hosts, Albert Albanese and Avi Schiffman.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Opening Whistle Radio Show right here on MESNRadio.com. Thank you again, guys, for joining us this week. As you know, the football season's over, but there's never a shortage of things to talk about when it comes to Avi and I. I'm your host, Albert Albanese.
And I'm Avi. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm stealing your last name. Apparently, I don't know what's going on. Just want to apologize real quick before we really dig into the show. Last week, for the first 20 minutes, we had some technical difficulties, and we were not on the air. So that's probably why you can't find last week's show anywhere, because, we're just going to scrap that for the most part. Whoever did really, hang tough and listen to us at the end, we really do appreciate it. And for everybody else, if you guys want to give us a phone call, we are literally willing to talk about anything today. The NFL season's over. We're going to kind of just have a lot of fun.
Anything?
Yeah, anything. Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, anything.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I feel like, we'll just open it up and have some fun.
Yeah.
Over the next couple of weeks, I feel like, we have, there's going to be a little bit of a shortage of news, but then free agency is going to open, and then, we're going to have the draft, which I know nothing about college football, so I won't be much of a help during that time. But anyway, if you guys want to call in real quick, it's 609-910-0687. Call in, talk about whatever you want. We don't care. We're going to talk about some of the bigger news that came out post Super Bowl. And the first thing is the Jimmy Garoppolo contract with San Francisco 49ers. Avi, I have it right here. It's 5 years, $137.5 million. It's $27.5 million a year. It's
pretty good to be Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
I would love to be Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
I mean, what can you say? He's the highest paid quarterback, and he's the highest paid player in the NFL now. Annually, he's making $90 million over his first 3 years.
Is that not crazy?
I mean, listen, he did. Listen, let me ask you: Is he worth that contract? I'm going to ask you what you think about it. Is he worth what they gave him?
Okay, here's my thing. I'm not,
because I'll let you know my opinion after you go.
With the shortage of quarterbacks in the league right now, who I think are trustworthy. You gotta think that some of these guys are going to be signed for monster contracts. Do I think that Garoppolo is worth this now? No, because I don't think he's proven himself enough. 7 games is 7 games. It's 5 for one team, 2 for another, which were monster. Which is a monster team. He was playing on an all-star team. The Patriots, let's face it, are an all-star team. I don't think he's worth this amount of money. But do I think that in year 2 or 3 of this contract, he actually could be worth that amount of money? Yeah, I think he might be.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. He went 6-0 with the team. They're first of all, the Niners. I checked out the odds to win the Super Bowl. They're the same odds with the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl next year, if I saw that correctly. They're the same odds, or to win the NFC. They were around the same odds.
Okay, I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Right, It has the feel like Garoppolo is going to be really, really good, right?
It does. And, I mean, a lot of people were, using the excuse for Garoppolo for last year. He was playing for nothing. He had nothing to lose. There was no, what's the worst case scenario? He doesn't play that well. They were just going to blame it on the scheme and the system. He didn't really know it that well, and he was going to come back next year, get a decent contract, and, he was going to be their starting quarterback regardless. Now he does have something to play for, but you got to think that San Francisco is going to build this team around him now.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, it was a smart move to lock him up, to get him. He could be a hidden gem. How long did he sit? 3 years under Brady? 2? At least 2? How long did he sit?
It was, I think it was, wasn't it 4?
I'm not comparing him, but Aaron Rodgers also sat
behind Brett Favre.
It seems like he has these Aaron Rodgers qualities to him.
A lot of,
He's not as talented. I don't think he's as talented.
Well, time will tell.
But I think this is a good move for the Niners in the long run.
I've had this theory behind the starting quarterback for an NFL franchise that's drafted straight out of college and going to the NFL. For the most part, we don't see a lot of those people as success stories.
Right.
A lot of the quarterbacks that we see as being success stories were quarterbacks who did sit at the very least for 6 games to a year behind somebody and then learn the scheme, learn how to play in the NFL, and then come in and start playing. This is why you see guys like Mark Sanchez, who started for the Jets, go out and not play as well. I think if he would have sat for a year, they would have had a lot better of a career ahead of him. Johnny Manziel is another one. All right, you can blame a lot of the off the field issues, but they bring these quarterbacks in to start immediately, and it just sometimes it doesn't work out.
Now, I have a question. Who do you give the most credit to for Garoppolo's success so far in the NFL? Is it learning under Brady? You think Brady was a big help to him? You think Belichick was a big help to him? You think he's actually like a really talented quarterback? What do you think was the biggest part of his success so far?
Natural talent, absolutely. Playing for a winning team never hurts.
Oh, no.
So he's
got 2 rings or 1?
Yeah, and he has a preconceived notion of being a winner.
And he hasn't lost as a starter yet. Right.
No, and he comes from a team that he's used to winning. He comes from a franchise that is being called the dynasty of this generation. These guys are winners.
Right, and remember in the beginning of the season we were talking about CJ Beathard. What's his name? Beathard. Yeah, Beathard. Yeah, that's what they call him, Beathard.
Yeah, I got you. I didn't know you were making the joke.
Oh, it's okay. But look at the change. obviously CJ Beathard's like a nobody, but. That's not easy going 6-0 with a team like that. They don't have a lot of talent. Besides for Carlos Hyde, they don't have a lot of talent around them.
And Carlos Hyde might not even be there next year.
To win 6 games in a row in the NFL is not easy.
It's not.
And they won all their games, and this is a huge momentum shift going to the next season. And now Kyle Shanahan has a whole year to prepare with this guy. And what are they going to do in free agency? What are they going to do in the draft? They're going to
they're going to just bolster the offensive line and get this guy some receivers.
And they're going to get some talent around him. This team. It's true. This team it could surprise a lot of teams next year, and they could be in the hunt next year for the NFC West. We don't know.
I agree.
I think they might jump over Seattle. They might catch Seattle. The Rams. Okay, the Rams are going to be good. But
they could be a wild card team.
I don't think the Rams are going to be what they were last year. I don't think the Rams are going to be what they were last year. I think they're going to take a little step back. But
maybe
I think the Niners could surprise some teams next year.
I agree. Look, I think, to put wrap this up in a neat little bow, I think this is a smart move for the 49ers. Does Garoppolo deserve to be the highest paid player in football? No, but let's wait until.
But we've seen it before.
But let's wait until Kirk Cousins gets a contract, and let's
Nick
wait
Foles.
until Nick Foles gets a contract, and let's see if Case Keenum or Teddy Bridgewater break out into free agency. One of the two of them isn't going to be. They're both not going to be on that team next year.
Right.
Let's wait to see if they get a contract. Yeah, maybe they're not going to beat Garoppolo's, but this could just be a huge thing. In a couple of years, Russell Wilson's contract is up. Aaron Rodgers said he doesn't have to finish his career in Green Bay.
Whew.
These guys are going to get paid so much because of this Jimmy Garoppolo deal.
I agree. And doesn't he has the look of a quarterback, right? Garoppolo.
He does.
He's got the look of a quarterback.
He does.
And he came from a winning system. Good for him though. He earned it. He earned it. He sat for a few years. He was on a winning culture, and look what he did. He went 6-0 as a starter in his first whatever. That doesn't happen in the NFL.
I agree.
So good for him. He earned his contract. Not that saying he should get that much, but he earned his contract for sure.
I completely agree. Real quick, I want to segue into this a little bit because we haven't had a lot of time to talk about this because it's been, and even though it was a big deal in the world of football, and we had the playoffs going on and then the Super Bowl, but in 1 or 2 years time, depending upon how you want to look at it, we're getting more football.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
Vince McMahon has announced that he's relaunching the XFL. Avi, what do you think about this? Because I got to admit, I'm excited.
When was the XFL? Oh, was it 2000 when it came out the first time?
I believe so.
I remember, but obviously it was an epic failure. At the end of the day,
it was
the beginning. But this one just has a feel like this is going to be huge, right?
I think so.
Right.
So a lot of stuff has come out about the XFL, and it's a lot based on the current political climate. Vince McMahon has, and everybody else who's surrounding him has made it, known that there aren't going to be any players who have a criminal record to play in the XFL, which is, that's quite the.
That's a lie.
That's quite the rule.
Okay.
No, they're saying that they won't consider it.
Okay.
And another thing is they refuse to have anybody kneel for the national anthem.
Did they come out? How many teams? Did they say how many teams they're going to be?
They haven't really released a lot of specifics yet.
I'm
And,
curious.
There's probably not going to be a lot of specifics.
And there's going to be
until they're
former
really-
NFL players, obviously, playing in the XFL,
I mean,
right?
think about how many guys that don't have a job right now that could still play are out there. I mean,
Right.
you know that the RG3s of the world are
And
going to
Tim
be
Tebow,
and
Manziel.
maybe well, Manziel can't.
Right. Okay.
Tebow was asked about it, and Tim Tebow said,
Tebow's the biggest criminal of all.
yeah,
right.
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 But he said, he would consider it, but right now he's concentrating on playing baseball. So
I can tell you who definitely is not going to be in is Michael Vick.
yeah. I don't think there's
Yeah.
much of a chance.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff surrounding it, that I maybe like morally I don't agree with. But you know what? I think this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Let's extend the NFL season by
Sure.
the football season just by a couple of months.
Yeah, we'll see how
More
see how
football,
it goes.
this gives us I'll watch.
Yeah. Are the rules going to be the same? I don't.
They did say they were going to be a little bit more lax on the rules, know.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know if they're going to do the whole no fair catch thing. I mean, that was,
Right.
but it's going to be down and dirty, a little bit more brutal football.
Right. It's kind of like what the NBA, what the basketball is doing now with the big. I don't know if you heard the Big Three, the league with the Ice Cubes league. They have like former players playing 3-on-3 tournaments. It's kind of be like that, but it's going to be interesting. It's what is it in 2 years? 2020.
I believe it was 2020. Yeah.
So it should have. I mean, Rob Gronkowski would be perfect for XFL, right? But he's not going to play then.
No. Rob Gronkowski is. It's funny we talk about Vince McMahon owning the XFL. Rob Gronkowski is going to be in the WWE as soon as he retires. I guarantee.
You
it.
think so?
I
You heard
guarantee
the reports about Sylvester Stallone wanting him to just quit football and start acting.
Yeah, no, I've heard that too, and he might do that.
So you really believe he's going to be in WWE?
I think it's only a matter of time if they can get him. If he's not acting, yeah. If they can get him, sure, why not?
He'd be a star.
He would be.
He'd be
he would
a star.
But I mean, for my whole thing though, about the XFL is, it's going to be fun to see some of these guys. Like we saw a couple of guys, who came from the XFL, went on to the NFL and had a pretty decent career. And I want to see it. Jeff Garcia was actually probably the biggest success story.
Yeah.
Out of that. And, I want to see it. They might go back with the whole, you can wear whatever you want on the back of your jersey thing.
Right. He hate me. That's the guy I remember.
Yep. That was, yeah.
Who was that? He had a good career.
He did. He went
I
to
forgot
the
his name.
So did I, but he went to the NFL after that, and he had a good career too.
Right.
There's so many. My whole thing about the XFL is that it's going to open up a world of different opportunities. We're going to see a whole bunch of new players.
I'm sure the NFL is not going to be too happy about it. They're not happy about it.
Well, a lot of
I don't know what they're profiting from it.
Well, no, they're not, and
Right.
it's actually it's gonna detract a lot of viewers.
Right.
The ratings for the NFL are at an all-time low,
Yeah.
and this does have a lot to do with the current political climate. And look, I promise you guys that the one thing we wouldn't talk about is politics on this show. But I mean, when you talk about kneeling and you talk about these players and stuff like that, there's a divide in this country with people who believe that is morally wrong, and there are people who believe that these people are standing up for what they believe in.
Right. I was going to say you're talking about kneeling. Like Colin Kaepernick, he'd be perfect for the XFL right now.
Absolutely, Colin Kaepernick would be.
I still think he should be in the NFL. That's just me.
I think Kaepernick's talented enough to be
absolutely
there.
he should absolutely still be in the NFL. That's for sure.
But you know what? Yeah, he could. He could definitely. He could be like one of the top 8 guys in the XFL.
A lot of guys, a lot of names floating around. But guys who aren't drafted, they're going to try it out. Why not? How much are these guys going to get paid?
I mean, they're not going to get
Not a
paid.
lot.
I'm sure the league minimum is going to be substantially less than the NFL. But I mean, that's until that happens until the XFL blows up and it goes from. I mean, they could initially start with like 8 teams and it could blow up to then there's going to be 12 teams and then 16 and then 24 and then all of a sudden. The XFL it's the NFL season stops and the XFL season starts, and people are seamlessly looking into this as being, this could be something big. This is the right time to do it.
Yeah.
It's the political climate is right for a bunch of people who are, you have people like me and you who are football fans who are just going to say, screw it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, why not? I'll see how it goes.
Why not? Why wouldn't I watch it?
Right.
And you have people that are, going to sit there and say, I'm a big football fan, but I don't respect some of these players that are in this league. I'll watch the XFL where I do.
Right, but me and you, honestly, you're not going to – the NFL is still the priority. And you're going to watch your Jets. I'm going to watch my Cowboys. They're
100%.
Absolutely.
The New York – what were they? The New York Hitmen?
New York, New Jersey, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's New York, New Jersey team.
If that's the case, yeah,
if
sure.
New Jersey has their own team, yeah, I'll definitely be on the bandwagon.
Whatever. I'm going to be on the bandwagon regardless. The New York team will be my team.
Right, exactly.
And that's going to be – it is what it is.
We should go to some games right
now.
now.
We definitely should.
All right, we'll sign up. Let's buy season tickets.
Yes, we should. We should buy season tickets.
Why not? See how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, where are they going to play? I mean, New York, New Jersey. This could stretch out MetLife.
I'm not sure where they played last time. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but I mean, this could stretch out MetLife for a little bit. MetLife might want to sign on to get,
maybe
sell some tickets.
Could be.
What are they doing there now? Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
And this is going to be good. It's going to hire a whole bunch of people. It's going to put people, more people in the stands. And just like this is a big deal. So this is, even if it does start with 8 teams, this is 8 stadiums. Which 4 of which will be active every week,
right.
Which hires concession people and ticket takers and all that kind of stuff. This puts a lot of wheels in motion for job creation
right.
and stuff.
And
it's good.
And the concussion rate will go up too.
So doctors will have more to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's good all around. It's good for the sport of football.
Why not?
It's fun. Look,
Vince McMahon has the money to back it. Why not? Go for it. What the hell? He doesn't care.
I'm excited.
He wants to try it again.
Yeah.
You know what? He failed the first time. Go for it again.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think he'll fail this time. I think he's got it at the right time.
There's a reason he's a multi-billionaire.
Exactly.
So let him go for it. So that should be exciting.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to weigh in on the XFL, Jimmy Garoppolo, the next thing that we're going to be talking about, which is going to be the 7 head coaches that were hired for these new teams. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Give us a call. The number is 609-910-0687. I don't know if you guys maybe thought that we weren't going to be on because there's no football, but no, we're going to be on. And call about anything. We don't care. Call about Garoppolo. Call about the XFL. Call about Vince McMahon. Call about, Ed McMahon. Whatever you want to do. So obviously now the season is over. The Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. It's weird to even say that. It doesn't even sound right. It doesn't even sound right.
And in Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia is still standing. Surprising.
Well, it burned for a while,
It
but
burned
then
for a little bit, yeah.
and things were falling from the sky, and awnings were broken, and street lights were thrown. But the city of Philadelphia did survive.
I'm sure there's still a lot of alcohol to clean up in the streets. A lot of beer cans.
Yeah,
a lot
but
of beer bottles.
I think that happens
that's
regardless.
Every day. That's a daily occurrence. Yeah, that's what am I saying? Yeah, that's right.
But now that that's over, we are into the season of hiring new head coaches, and so far 7 head coaches have been hired, and.
I wish Jason Garrett was on the list. I wish we had a new coach.
Well, Jason Garrett could have been hired for another team, but
Yeah.
So let's dig into this. There's 7 teams. One of them we kind of dissected a little bit before, because he got hired like right before like in the middle of the playoffs. But we'll dig into it again. Let's start off with the Arizona Cardinals. They signed Steve Wilkes, who was the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, and he had 12 years as an assistant coach.
Not gonna lie, Albert, I don't know much about the guy.
Neither do I. And that's the big thing,
I don't know. It seems like they need. Well, listen, they're going to be drafting a quarterback this year.
Yeah, or
signing whoever's out there.
Yeah,
but it seemed like they would had a guy that could mold a quarterback. Or so I don't know much about the guy. I don't know what to tell you. They're not going to be good. The Cardinals next year. I'll tell you that much.
He was a defensive coordinator, and I'm curious about the decision to hire a defensive-minded coach for a team that's going to need a quarterback.
Right.
I would have thought that there's got to be a strong candidate who was a quarterback's coach out there.
Right.
That
honestly, Bruce Arians was great. I love Bruce Arians.
So did I.
Great coach. But you know what? I think he's had like 1,000 jobs in the NFL. You ever watch this documentary about him? He's been through it all. He's went through everything. But Bruce Arians, not going to get. I don't think you're going to get better than him. Listen, they were in the NFC Championship game 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They were a really good team.
And you got to think that this was just a really bad year for them. They lost their best player. And then they lost a quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a rough year. But they're are they in rebuild mode? I guess they are. Listen, it depends what they do. If they don't bring in a quarterback, they're going to have to draft one. Then they're in rebuild mode.
I guess they're in rebuild mode. But, what does that mean for David Johnson?
Right.
Do you want to be on a team that's going to rebuild with a new coach and a new quarterback?
And Larry Fitzgerald's going to be retiring. I don't know, this year or next year.
Yeah, it's going to happen sooner or later. They have good, they have John Brown, they have Jaron Brown, they have it was J.J. Nelson.
Yeah.
They have good talent around, but no clear-cut number one outside of Fitzgerald.
Right. If I was Fitzgerald, listen, he's got all the class in the world. I think he's loyal to the Cardinals. I think he'll retire a Cardinal.
I believe so.
You think in his last year he just want to join a team, try to win a Super Bowl? He's one of those guys, right? Don't you think he should, though? I don't think he would, but Any team would sign on.
We say that about a lot of guys, and a lot of them wind up not doing it. And you know what? I respect Larry Fitzgerald because I feel like the city of Arizona is
listen, Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest receivers of all time,
and one of the classiest.
They should have won that year against the Steelers. Remember that touchdown he had at the end before Big Ben came down the field?
I still think that, yeah.
But that would have been one of the most shocking Super Bowls, honestly.
Absolutely.
But they deserved it. But we'll see. I mean, I think Fitzgerald. I think he's just going to be loyal and stay with them maybe one more year. But I mean, I don't know what to say much about the coach.
Neither do I. I mean,
I agree with you. He should have. I thought they were going to bring in an offensive guy, quarterback, coach, somebody. Yeah. Maybe a guy like Josh McDaniels, but remember, we know what happened with him.
Well, we'll talk,
we can talk about that.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. The Chicago Bears hired Matt Nagy. He was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Again, not something I know a ridiculous amount about, but again, it's not a name for a head. Like, you think of like head coaches, you feel like you've heard of these names, and we're going to get next we're going to get to one who has a big name, but we questioned their hiring too. Like, who is Matt Nagy, and what has he done? I
assume that this is all about Trubisky. Trubisky going in second year. I think it's all about that, trying to get him to become.
Well, me and you have said multiple times we both are believers in Mitch Trubisky.
Yes,
I really am.
Right,
I think that kid is so talented.
He is. He's only going to get better.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
believe it. He was good last year. He was good. He was a rookie, but he has that look also. He's going to take us. He's going to take a step up.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree.
But I feel like they did that for Trubisky. Yeah, I don't know how much he had input with the Chiefs because Andy Reid really is the mastermind behind that offense. Yeah, absolutely. But, another coaching hire. I'm a guy who likes coaches that are known, like a name coach, to come in.
Yeah.
But, a guy like Doug Peterson, he wasn't a name. Look at him. He's a Super Bowl champ now.
And this is the next name that
this could be the next Doug Peterson. Who knows?
Yeah.
I doubt it, but
the Giants hired Pat Shurmur. He was offensive coordinator for the Eagles and the Vikings. That's a name though. Everybody knows who Pat Shurmur is.
Yeah, I guess in the football world, but I'm skeptical of the hire too. He's not what we thought about. Who was the last Giants coach? I forgot his name. McAdoo.
Ben McAdoo.
McAdoo, but he's not that. But Shurmur, what has he really done? Yeah, he had one good year with the Vikings. He was with the Browns 1 year.
Yeah, well, we can't talk about. He was also offensive coordinator for the Eagles. He did pretty well.
Okay.
I like Pat Shurmur. I like this idea that of him getting hired as a head coach. I think he deserved it. I think he might be a good fit for the Giants because the Giants are going to need a quarterback too.
Right.
Yeah, I think that it was a smart move. They got an offensive coordinator. They got somebody who knew what they were doing. It was and you got to admit, for a makeshift offense last year for the Minnesota Vikings, he did just an unbelievable job.
Bring up the Giants now. I was listening on the radio the other day. What are they going to do with that number 2 pick? Because there's a guy, Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
You know how talented he is. He's a guy also that's last time I was talking about talent was Ezekiel Elliott. I remember the Cowboys when the Cowboys had the 4th pick. I wanted Ezekiel Elliott. I wanted him. I was so happy when they drafted him. He's going to be like Ezekiel Elliott. This guy. How do you? And they say he's the best player in the draft. How do you pass up on that guy? What are the Giants going to do? Because I hear about Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold that we're not sure about them. They're no surefire things. The Giants could wait and maybe draft a quarterback in the second round, late first round, second round, whatever, or trade that pick. But I don't see how you pass up on that guy, Saquon Barkley. I don't know. That's just me. If they sign a good offensive lineman and then draft Saquon Barkley, it can make a big difference with that team. And Eli, even bring Eli back.
Yeah, for a season.
Even though I don't like that at all, or sign I don't know what they're going to do. I don't see how you pass up on that guy.
Neither do I. Last year, I can't remember who it was. You pinpointed the best player in the draft last year before it even started. I can't remember who you said it was.
Last year?
Was it Clowney?
Clowney? You're saying a rookie this year?
It was somebody who played this year.
Deshaun Watson?
No, it wasn't me. Was it Deshaun Watson? You were saying the praises of somebody, and whoever it was.
I like Deshaun Watson a lot. I compared him to Dak Prescott. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it was Deshaun Watson. I don't remember who it was. Whoever it was,
I compared it to Dak Prescott. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you killed it with it. I remember it. Yeah. I got to go back and listen to the shows from last year.
I'm gonna look at the last year's draft. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But what do you think the Giants are gonna do with that pick?
I'm with you. How do you pass him up?
I don't see how you pass him up.
I mean, Barkley is obvious.
He's a game changer.
And now, who has the number 1 pick?
The Browns.
The Browns.
Right.
Do you think they don't go quarterback? Do you think there's a chance that they draft Barkley, get a
That's another thing. Yeah, I don't know how you pass up on the guy. They can. They have the number 1 and 6 pick. They can draft both. I don't see how you pass up on Barkley.
They can. You can get Barkley at 1 and get either Darnold or Rosen at 6.
Absolutely, or Darnold or another quarterback. I don't know Darnold or Rosen. I don't know. I'm not so high on on either of them.
But we're talking about the Browns here,
right?
So I don't care. You know,
if I'm the Browns, I'm going with. Listen, they have not been successful with drafting quarterbacks. Right? Just go with the best player.
And that's what I'm saying.
Available.
What if they go with Barkley number 1? Then the Giants have to draft. Then the Giants absolutely are going to draft the quarterback.
I agree. I just feel like I don't want to see him go to the Giants because he's got that Ezekiel Elliott aspect to him.
I know.
He's explosive.
You know, for me, I wish the Jets would like trade up and get him, and then I'd be happy.
Yeah.
But
But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But yeah.
All right, so that's the Giants. I mean, I like the Pat Shurmur deal. You don't. I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of people, one named Pat. Now we move on to one named Matt. Another one named Matt. This is a pretty big one. Matt Patricia has been with the New England Patriots since 2004. Wow. And now he is going to be the head coach of the Detroit Lions. And I'm not going to lie, Avi. I don't see...
I'm with you. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I just don't see what it's going to,
Listen,
I get it.
They were saying, listen, who really ran that defense for all this time? It was Bill Belichick, right? He was just he didn't really put together those defenses. I don't know what to say.
I'm sure he had a hand.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he's going to be a great head coach. That's just me.
And that's the thing. I don't feel like he's going to be a great head coach.
I guess he earned a shot, did he? But did he really?
Yeah.
Listen, their defense, let's be honest here. The defense in the Super Bowl was awful. Was god-awful. This past Super Bowl. It was not a good way to end the season for the Patriots.
No. I mean, the 2 weeks before, they played well. But, I mean, the Patriots' defense this year was not that good.
No. And it's what I've been saying. It hasn't been that great since, honestly, the first Super Bowl teams, the first 3, those were really good, great defenses.
Yeah, agreed.
The past Super Bowl teams were not that great.
It was Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski.
And Malcolm Butler making a great play.
Malcolm Butler making making a lucky catch. I'll say it once. I'll say it a million times. They should have ran that from the 1-yard line with Marshawn Lynch.
I will agree with you forever. Yeah. Just like Des Bryant's catch was a catch.
Yeah.
That'll stick in my mind forever.
Listen, you tagged me in a video. Avi tagged me in a video on Facebook of the Des Bryant catch coupled with the Zach Ertz catch. And I was never like...
I don't want to hear about being a runner. I don't know what the hell that means.
Being a runner means you have to take 3 steps, regardless of the fact...
And he did take 3 steps.
Regardless of the fact,
How similar was that?
If Zach Ertz was upheld and Des Bryant was overturned, it's kind of bull. It's kind of bull. I feel I
I'll
get
never
it.
Forget about that.
Like it never really bothered me. I never really had much of an opinion. My opinion always of it was, hey, they called it not a catch on the field. What are you going to do? Now I look at it, I'm like, oh crap, that was really a catch though.
It was, of course, it was a catch. Yeah, I'll never let that go.
So yeah, I think we're both in agreement. I just don't see the allure of Matt Patricia. I saw the allure of Josh Daniels.
Josh McDaniels.
With Josh McDaniels, yeah. I did.
Yeah. He really...
apparently the Colts did too, but then Josh McDaniels decided that he...
I heard something interesting that they said that maybe Robert Kraft informed Josh McDaniels that Bill Belichick's on his way out and it's going to be his job.
I heard
that
make
sense?
Too.
That can make sense.
I heard that they said that Belichick also something along the lines of Belichick won't be around forever and you could be his heir apparent.
I can hear that, but I could also see Josh McDaniels being a little bit of a flake, right?
You know what? I hope he is. I hope that setup.
Maybe also, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know with Andrew Luck. Maybe he doesn't know what's going to happen with Andrew Luck. Is he going to play this year? People thought Andrew Luck was going to play last year. I did. But who knows what's going to happen with him?
Well, and now the Colts hired Frank Reich, who is the offensive coordinator for the Eagles.
I like that. I like that hire.
I mean, I think that was one of the better decisions they made. I mean, as a number 2, you go from the offensive coordinator for the team who lost in the Super Bowl to the offensive coordinator for the team who won in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, how many steps did they really lose? Yes, Josh McDaniels has a little bit more experience as a head coach.
Right.
And that's fine. But and the Patriots are proven winners, but the Eagles are legitimately winners.
He also drafted Tim Tebow. I don't know if that was his decision, but he also drafted Tim Tebow. That was his...
No, well, we know whose decision that was.
Right, it was Elway, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Fine. But at the end of the day, I think the Colts are going to be happy with their move. I think they're happy with not having McDaniels. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. we'll see what Frank Reich could do.
Out of the 7 coaches that were hired, he's absolutely the second best pick.
Yeah. Okay. Second best.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take a look at your list here.
Oh well, it's the guy that we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Avi, Oh wait, we have a phone call, Avi.
Oh, beautiful.
Hey caller, what's up? What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, it's Phil from Springfield, guys. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
All right. 2 points. I just finished. I know it's off topic, but I just finished watching the Knick game, and it's like pathetic. I just want to say that I know Avi's really happy with them this year, but
yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, I think their season ended when Porzingis' season ended.
No, their season ended before last year.
Well, that's fair too.
This year, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, in football, the Vikings. Who's going to be the starting quarterback and who's going to be number 2? I know Bradford is gone, I'm sure. I think you guys agree with that, right?
Yeah, that's another name that'll be floating around for the XFL. Sam Bradford.
I think Kirk Cousins is a great fit there. I think they should go after him.
But they have 2 quarterbacks already.
I know, but honestly, I would let Case Keenum go. I would. Honestly, I would. I don't believe in Case Keenum. I'm not a big believer in him. He had a great season.
But that's fine. So then why wouldn't you give Teddy Bridgewater the chance?
Right, Teddy Bridgewater too. Though we don't know. Though he had a horrible injury. We don't know what he's going to be. I go after the best available quarterback out there, I think Kirk Cousins could take them over the top.
I think that Teddy Bridgewater can. I think they might have enough belief in him.
If that's what you believe,
I do. I mean, and those are 2 different but good answers.
Listen, Case Keenum earned the job with them. But I think this was like a one-hit wonder. With remember Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Case Keenum earned a job somewhere. He will start somewhere.
Yeah.
If it's not for Minnesota.
It seems Ryan Fitzpatrick-y to me a little bit.
Maybe. But Fitzpatrick couldn't bring this team to the playoffs. Case Keenum did.
Right. That's true. That is true.
And he's responsible for the greatest call in the history of football.
That's true also.
Yeah, he's partially responsible for that. All right, Phil, what was your second point? Oh, actually, comment on that first, and then.
Yeah, that was my second point. Yeah, I would say give Keenum a shot to start next year.
I don't mind it.
And if he doesn't pan out, bring it to Bridgewater. That's all.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I just don't know if they have the money to keep both of them. Because somebody's going to want to pay one of the 2 of them a decent amount of money. The NFL is so devoid at the quarterback position right now. Somebody's going to get paid out of the 2 of them.
I don't want to be high.
Both.
I don't want to be high in Kirk Cousins, but I am for some reason.
I'm not.
I know. We had this debate with him and Alex Smith. That's
and I'm just not high on Cousins.
I agree with you. He hasn't done anything, but I still think that the Vikings I think that's a good fit for them. Perfect fit. He's a good fit for a lot of teams. He'll take make a lot of teams better. Yeah, I think so.
I think we lost him, unfortunately, but I mean it spurns a good debate here.
Yeah. So what you're saying about the coaches? Yeah, I see. Yeah, all the names, it's a lot of no names, right?
Well, the second to last person we have to talk about is the Titans hired Mike Vrabel. He played with the Patriots for a couple of years.
Right, he had a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
He did. The
linebacker.
3 seasons with Ohio State, 4 with the Texans. His last season was as a defensive coordinator.
I think we touched on this last week for a second, or we touched on him being hired. We thought, at least I thought that they were going to go after another guy to mold the Mariota to get him going a little bit.
Right.
This is a shot. This is another weird hire.
Again, there's another defensive coach that got hired out of nowhere, and I don't know where they're getting these defensive coaches from.
Yeah, I don't know
why.
Why? I don't know. Mike Vrabel, I do not like as a head coach. I don't like it.
I don't dislike him as a head coach. I just don't like him as a head coach for the Titans.
For the Titans, fine, okay. Nah. Listen. What is he? He was the defensive coordinator, right, for the Texans.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what? You know who's really made that defense what it was? It was Wade Phillips.
Absolutely.
Him. So
Wade Phillips and having J.J. Watt on that field, because without him, their defense isn't even that good.
Exactly. And Wade Phillips is established. Listen, he wasn't obviously. I liked him. You know what? I liked him for a little bit on the Cowboys. He wasn't a terrible head coach. He wasn't terrible.
No.
He made the playoffs a couple times, but he's a really great defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Look at what he did with the Broncos.
Absolutely.
And the Rams last year.
Yeah.
But. Mike Vrabel, I don't know. They're just giving him a shot. This could be really like a 1-year thing. Not even. He's the type of guy that can be fired after 5 games.
Yeah, I agree.
He's that type of guy. So, I don't know. I don't like it. I didn't like it. I don't like that hire either. So, yeah, I guess I agree with you with Shermer, being the best or one of the best hires.
Probably third best on the list behind.
Right.
Behind. Yeah. Well, it was. Yeah. Well, we said Frank Reich was a really.
Right.
Yeah,
but we really don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about these guys. We don't know what they're going to do.
It's obvious that the best decision that was made was the Oakland Raiders hiring John Gruden.
Right.
I mean, let's face it.
Well, he better be good. He hasn't coached in a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, you're that sought after. There's a reason.
Right. He better be good with them. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this pretty much at length a couple weeks ago. I like the move. I don't know what you do when your coach's salary is higher than some of the players' salary.
I agree. And it's all dependent on Derek Carr, I think. That's
absolutely.
And he stays healthy. If he stays healthy,
I think Gruden can get the best out of Derek Carr. I do. And that's a big thing.
I agree. He has to stay healthy. I love Derek Carr. He's
so
talented. He's all talent in the world.
So good.
I just want him to take that step, He could be really one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
I agree.
He could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I completely agree.
But this is the year to do it. He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's not his fault, but got to do it.
I agree. If you guys want to weigh in on this, it's 609-910-0687. We got about 20 minutes left, Avi, and we had two things lined up. And you want to go with which one do you want to go with?
How about your favorite players of all time?
You didn't do the other one. You didn't do the other list. I see.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll do that. Okay, so Avi and I had a discussion earlier, and we were going to talk about, we're going to start manufacturing things to talk about for a little bit here. So we figured let's have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, why not?
And to have a little bit of fun, we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite players of all time. So I think the fair way to do this, Avi, is that we start from 5, go up to 1. We can start with yours, and then we'll alternate. So you do your 5, I'll do mine, and then we'll work our way up.
There's so many guys that I'm fans of, but so this is not. I mean, the top 3 fine, but there's a lot of players I love.
Yeah,
it's hard to make a list.
It really is. Even like my number 5 could literally be the person I picked, or about 12 other players.
Right. So I'll start.
Okay.
I love wide receivers in general.
So do I.
In the NFL, divas. I love the diva aspect of it. I don't care if you're like, you don't kill the locker room, but I love, great receivers deserve to get the ball, right? So this guy just went into the Hall of Fame, or is going to the Hall of Fame, Randy Moss. Oof. He's my number 5.
Oh, man.
How do you not like that guy?
I was a Jets fan and watched him run amok over them when Brady, when he was in New England. Other than that, though, when he was on Minnesota,
right.
I was such a huge Randy Moss fan, man.
I mean,
you could not have
Randy
been.
Moss. Yeah, so I play wide receiver in my flag football league.
Nice.
I didn't play this past year, but I just love something about receivers. I'm a receiver, I take stuff from these guys, how much of a diva they are. You want the ball always, but Randy Moss you couldn't defend the guy.
No.
So fast. The guy was awesome.
His hands.
I wish he was still
amazing.
in the NFL. He was amazing. Remember he was on the Niners in that Super Bowl a few years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
Did he catch? I don't know if he caught a touchdown, but Randy Moss.
He was still making big plays.
Randy Moss, even mooning the crowd in Lambeau. Remember that?
Yeah.
Obviously Packers fans probably did not like Randy Moss, but even on the Patriots, he was so good on the Patriots.
Broke my
heart. How good was he on the Patriots? He was great on the Vikings.
Good.
But on the Patriots,
so
1 year, how many years was he on the?
A couple. He was on there a couple of years.
And people forget he was on the Raiders. He was. He didn't do. That wasn't a great fit. But once he went to the Patriots with Brady,
yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
so Randy Moss,
everybody knew it.
Randy Moss, I'm going to put him there, number 5.
So my number 5 could be, and it could be like this player or literally 12 other receivers. I'm a big fan of the wide receiver position as well. And there's one guy who's always stuck out to me who may go down as being one of the best of all time, and for 3 years straight, brought me to fantasy football glory, and that is Antonio Brown. A lot of people can sit there and talk about, hey, he's had Roethlisberger's entire career. You know what? He is the quintessential wide receiver. He's everything you want in a wide receiver. His hands, his routes, his speed. He's the best receiver in football.
He's great. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
Already
in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
He just needs to put
one of
those rings on his finger.
This guy was right. He needs one of those, but I guess he doesn't. But whatever.
He might not need it. But
this guy also was what was he? A 6th-round pick?
Yeah,
6th-round pick out of nowhere.
It's unbelievable
what he's become, and I love seeing those stories. In the NFL.
Yeah,
these guys.
Yeah, these guys who aren't supposed to be megastars. Now he is the
Tom Brady. Right. I know it hurts you.
Ugh.
Yeah, but Antonio Brown, that's how can you not like watching that guy too? So
Yeah,
hey,
agreed.
So 2 receivers to start.
Yeah.
So my next guy,
Now I got to ask. I just want to throw this out there because my top 3 are like lean this way. Are there a shit ton of Cowboys on your list?
there's 2.
All right, so
But these are my favorite players.
So it's same here. There's 2.
fine.
There's
Why
2
not?
on my list. Technically, there's 3. We'll get into the technicality.
no,
there,
I'm not
too.
saying these are our greatest players.
Okay, all right. So I just want to throw that out there.
But this next guy was a great player,
Okay.
and I love watching him. I miss him on the Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware was great.
How good is DeMarcus Ware?
DeMarcus Ware was
I miss him so much. I
fantastic.
hated it that they let him go.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that it's a hard thing to deal with when you have a player on your team that you enjoy watching so much, and they're losing them not because they want them to leave, but
My favorite jersey is DeMarcus Ware, Thanksgiving jersey. Unbelievable. DeMarcus Ware was one of the best pass rushers in the game. For
He really was.
How many years in a row was he? He was really one of the best defensive pass. He was the best pass rusher in the NFL.
and
And how great was he in that Super Bowl with the Broncos?
absolutely.
He could have won
and
MVP with
he
Devon
could've.
Miller. They should have shared
Yeah.
the MVP that year.
And it's rare. I have 5 offensive players on my list. It's rare to have a defensive player as one of your favorite players. I mean, but he was that good.
And I'll admit, I used to do the his little celebration when he stomped on the ground. I used to do that all the time when he was sacked. I'm not gonna lie, I did that.
Yeah, I mean,
He's DeMarcus Ware.
yeah.
Love that guy.
I can't disagree there.
Who you got next?
So my number 4 is who I consider to be top 3 greatest quarterbacks of all time. A guy whose career I pretty much grew up watching just by virtue of just being around at the time and hearing all the big things, and then going on to see how much success he had, and finally seeing him retire, was Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was just you watched him and you knew you were watching something special.
Right. Every time he was on TV, you gotta watch him.
Yeah, like it was like
Monday Night Football, any big game.
And I hate to use this example because but it is the quintessential example. It's the same thing when there's a big game televised and Tom Brady's behind center. You want to watch that game because you think you're pretty much gonna see something special. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl and he retired. He went out on top. He probably shouldn't have even won a Super Bowl that year. The defense won that Super Bowl, but he's a good person off the field. He does a lot of good stuff, and he was an amazing quarterback.
He was really the smartest quarterback.
He was
of all time, probably.
He was.
He
kept all that in that giant forehead.
You're happy. Right, exactly. He was like that LeBron James type who didn't win for the first 8 years, and people were questioning he can't win the big game.
Yeah,
but he finally won. I mean, he wasn't. He won against the Bears. All right, he beat the Bears that year. And then next Super Bowl against the Saints, he wasn't great. He wasn't great in the playoffs. He's like a little better than 500 quarterback in the playoffs.
Right, but the games he did win. I mean, he's beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. One of the things that not a lot of people have ever done.
Right.
He's beat
who else
some of the
beat
greats.
Tom Brady in the playoffs? Nick Foles.
beat him in
And Mark
Super Bowl.
Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez did beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Beat Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady lost to some.
Yeah.
That makes you happy.
I kind of want to look that up to see who he's lost to in the playoffs.
There you go.
But yeah, definitely Peyton Manning was just, poetry in motion every time.
Yeah. So my next guy, who I was kind of mocking before, but Michael Vick. Falcons Michael Vick. And also
Really?
Eagles Michael Vick. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Michael Vick. I mean,
that's a surprising player to have on your list because he was an Eagle.
Right. I actually loved him on the Eagles.
But you're a Cowboys fan.
You know what
would
really
think
the game that really got me over the top? Remember the comeback they had against the Giants? Remember the Deshaun Jackson punt return?
Yes.
That game?
Oh my God! I do remember. I was
one of the greatest games.
My uncle's old house in his living room. We were watching that game, and oh my God!
I hated the Giants so much. The Giants, at that time, I hated the Giants so much. To see them collapse like that, but to see what Michael Vick did also, he brought them back in that game. He was unbelievable. And with the Falcons, obviously, we're not talking about the off the field stuff. Obviously, he did his time. He did whatever.
I have a lot of differing opinions about that, but
right, I know. But I'm talking about pure enjoyment watching him. The Falcons, obviously, he was the most exciting player in the NFL at that time. And then on the Eagles also, he was great. He was great. He was.
So
yeah, Michael Vick.
He didn't play well for the Jets. I can tell you that.
That's right. I forgot. And he was on the Steelers, right? For a little
Yeah,
bit?
he was for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's forgettable.
So, all right. So my next one, and this is totally because he was a guy who was on my team pick, flat out. A guy who I spent the first few years of me watching football disliking heavily because he was a New England Patriot. And then he came to the Jets and became the most successful and probably will probably wind up going down as one of the greatest running backs in Jets history, and that was Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin was – it was like watching you were watching just somebody who excelled at what they did and did it in and out every week, played for some of the worst Jet teams possible, but still was the bright spot of that team no matter what he did. Curtis Martin was amazing.
Talk about a good person also.
Yes,
class.
absolutely.
He's all class.
Just a class act all the way.
He's one of the classiest guys probably in NFL history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Curtis Martin was the quintessential, here, you're a New Yorker. I don't want anybody from any of those Boston teams. And except Curtis Martin came over, and I think every Jets fan was like, yeah, this is the greatest thing we've ever done.
Yeah. And he was on, the Jets when they were good with Chad Pennington those years.
Yeah,
was he with Chad Pennington?
They weren't that good. And no, that was.
They made the playoffs a couple times.
I think maybe Pennington's first year he was there.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, no, watching Curtis Martin was just, it was watching somebody who was just excellent at what he did. And it was just amazing to see. I've never seen a guy find holes, never seen such explosiveness out of the backfield. He had such good sight. It was just so much fun to watch.
Right. I haven't watched that much of Curtis Martin. I know he was a great player. I know he's a great running back, but not as much as you. But yeah, all class.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So my next guy is probably the greatest quarterback of all time. Probably. I mean, he is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh, God.
And that's Tony Romo.
I knew. It's so funny because at first I was like, oh, God, he's going to say who I think he's going to say. And then
no.
Oh, wait. I think I know where he's going with it.
Yeah. No, but Tony Romo, you know how I feel about Romo. He gets a bad rap. He's a Cowboy quarterback. Listen, honestly, his numbers, people don't look at him as the fumbled snap in the playoffs. That's what people remember him by. The guy was a great quarterback. And I'm sick and tired of people. He was. He got, that Des Bryant catch that year. I really believe they would have won the next week and gone to the Super Bowl. It's sad that he never got to play in an NFC Championship game. But Tony Romo was an exciting quarterback to watch. He was.
When he was on the field.
When he was on the field.
That was the biggest thing. That's always been my biggest thing about Tony Romo. I don't dislike Tony Romo, and I've said this 100 times. I love Tony Romo as an announcer too. He's fantastic. He couldn't stay healthy, and that was the biggest detriment to his career.
But Tony Romo is a big reason why I'm such a big Cowboys fan now.
I don't blame you.
He is.
My number one pick is the reason why I'm a Jets fan.
There you go. So I remember where I was. I remember the Quincy Carter. I told you, those are the days. At the end, after Troy Aikman, the Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson. That's when I was started to become a Cowboys fan. But Tony Romo, I remember where I was when Tony Romo played his first game. I was in the car listening on the radio. It was I think Monday Night Football, his first starter, Sunday Night Football, with my dad coming back from a basketball game in high school. And I remember they played the Carolina Panthers, and he came in. And just that year, they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't end well. But
unfortunately, yeah.
But I just remember, there's one of those guys that, really sparked my fandom with the Cowboys.
And how couldn't it? I mean, Romo was, even coming out of college was,
I hated him. It's a love-hate thing. You hated him when he was, awful. Unfortunately, didn't succeed that, in the playoffs. But when he had his big moments, he had some big moments. Love that guy.
If Romo would have stayed healthy, I think he would have been talked at as a much higher on the list of some of the better quarterbacks.
I just wish I would have seen him in a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
I hear you.
Never saw it, but, he's always going to go down.
He's
my guy.
You have a chance with the guy that's mine center now.
As T.O. said, that's my teammate. It's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah, it's my quarterback.
So my number 2 is a quarterback as well. And this is where I said that this gets murky with saying I had either 2 or 3 Jets depending on how you look at it in my top 5. One of the first games I ever remember really watching was seeing this guy play a game in the snow. And I want to say maybe it was that playoff game. Maybe it wasn't. It could have just been a random game in the snow. And just watching him maneuver around and toss these balls down the field and just look like one of the most competent, just amazing gunslingers you'll ever see. And it was Brett Favre. Brett, growing up as a Jet fan, I didn't get a good chance to be, have a number one quarterback. The Jets had, Vinny Testaverde and then Chad Pennington and Mark Sanchez. I never really had a quarterback to look up to. And I would watch Brett Favre, and I would sit there and I'd look at him and go, man, I just wish one day he would play for the Jets. I really do. Imagine if he played for the Jets, and then all of a sudden his contract comes up, and boom, he's playing for the Jets. I have 2 Brett Favre Jets jerseys. One is the regular, is the Titans jersey. One's the green, the old school green. I loved Brett Favre. I did, and even on the Vikings, I think he was excellent.
Great
too.
for the Vikings. He had an MVP type season that one year. Remember, I think he was second in voting.
Yeah.
Oh man, he had some great moments. Even with the Jets. Listen, remember that year with the Jets where they started off 9? Was it 8-3?
Yeah, if he didn't get hurt that year, they would have been.
He was great with every team he's been on.
They were a Super Bowl contender.
I like that guy. Obviously he made fans crazy. He made mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes. But how can you not like that guy? He put it all out there.
I love the
never
idea.
missed a game.
I love the gunslinger aspect of
never
him.
missed a game. Tough. Talk about tough.
Yeah.
Guy played through everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good pick. Yeah,
I
love Brett
Favre.
Favre too.
Yeah.
See, it's hard to make these lists. Because
It is.
So my number one guy, who I mentioned before.
I think I know who it's going to be.
Yeah. Terrell Owens, baby.
So you got 2.
He really is, though, my favorite player of all time.
You got 2 Hall of Famers on your list,
and a former Cowboy, obviously.
Yes.
T.O., talk about, like I said, being like a diva, and I love that about him. When he came to the Cowboys, I was so excited. Oh my God! Even with I didn't watch him so much with the Niners. When we went to the Eagles, fine, he was great with the Eagles.
Yeah, he was.
But T.O., how can you like T.O.?
You can't.
I love the guy.
Every time I think of T.O., I just think of him doing push-ups in his driveway.
Push-ups in his driveway.
That's all I think about.
Quarterback
man.
killer, whatever. He you fought with McNabb and stuff with McNabb, which it didn't end well with the Cowboys. But I love T.O. You got to respect his greatness, T.O. And now he's going to the Hall of Fame.
And
well deserved.
So deservedly so.
T.O. was the man. I love T.O.
Yeah, no.
I love T.O. I'll take him any day of the week.
I hear you, man.
Honestly, if I could pick one receiver, I'd take T.O. I'm serious.
No, I hear you. You have blind faith in some of those guys that you grew up watching, and Terrell Owens for you. That was that guy, and how could you not?
The best line ever. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a show. That's what he said at his Cowboys press conference when he came with the team. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a show. I love that line.
And he was right.
And he was right.
He was right 100%.
Oh, man. Awesome.
So my number one is similar to you, but it's totally not a guy who should be number one on anybody's list. But this is what you get when it's your favorite players of all time.
Johnny Manziel. I know, Albert.
Yeah. How did you know? It's actually Matt Leinart.
Oh, Matt Leinart.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Explain yourself, yeah.
No. So my number one is it was the quintessential wide receiver during the years where the Jets were growing up. When I was watching the Jets, there were so many reasons why he was my favorite player in the world, but my favorite player of all time is Wayne Corbett. Wayne Corbett was. There's so many reasons. He was the. I've never seen a guy make catches like Wayne Corbett. Chad Pennington, he was a safety valve. Third down, he was one of the best third down pass catchers I've ever seen. His nickname was the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern's my favorite superhero. There's just so many reasons why for me.
Tough as nails.
Oh my God, tough as nails.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Took a lot of hits to the head.
He did. That was back in those days where the concussions were they weren't as prevalent as they are now.
Right.
The research wasn't there. But Wayne Corbett was one of the greatest, one of the most underrated wide receivers in football.
I assume you have one of his jerseys.
I don't actually because I asked for it 7 years in a row for Christmas. And my father's not a football fan. He refused to buy me a Corbett jersey.
I'll get you.
So I'm gonna hook myself up. I think I have about a Jets jersey in about 3 years because I refuse to because. My Jets jersey collection is cursed. It's Brett Favre, Sean Green, Mark Sanchez, Chad Pennington. I don't have a good Jets jersey.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean Green, really?
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be the next big thing when he played.
Okay.
I had the official, real deal Sean Green jersey. I'm probably one of 12 people that have that.
Okay.
And the other 11 probably are related to him.
Yeah. But I like that. I like that pick. Guys, it's funny, the receivers. Wide receivers.
The wide receivers for your teams, man. And the thing is, you had Tony Romo. We didn't have a good quarterback. So I saw Vinny Testaverde throw so many passes to Wayne Corbett.
Right. Yeah, at least it's true. We had a quarterback. That's true. It must be tough to be. Listen, it's tough to be a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, it's tough to be a football fan in general sometimes.
It's tough, yeah. But you stay loyal. That's why we're fans. We stay loyal to our teams.
And on that note, we want to thank you guys for staying loyal to us, for listening all the time, and for giving for calling in. That's pretty much our show for tonight. Do you have anything else to add, Avi?
Not really. I mean, I kind of want to hear that Vikings radio call again. Do you want to play it? No, we don't. We'll stay. We'll stay.
Maybe we'll open the show with that next week again.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some more stuff coming on.
Yeah,
the show.
we're gonna
want to add some kinks to the show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We're gonna add some wrinkles. I think that next week we should have some more interesting stuff to talk about. And again, guys, just call in, talk about whatever you want. We don't even care at this point. It's off season. Let's have some fun. But that's the Opening Whistle radio show here on mesnradio.com. If you want to hear anything, the repeats of the show or any of the older stuff, it's facebook.com/the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. I am Albert Albanese.
Yeah, Avi Schiffman.
And I said my last name right this time.
Good job.
And we will see you guys next week. Well, or you'll listen to us next week, actually. Maybe nobody will listen to us now because apparently, our outro music isn't playing. So just pretend that that's playing, and we'll see you guys next week.